Humanity is trapped in a cycle. Revolutions that transform the world in one era become what needs to be changed in the next. We're in another period that's making great strides in improving life on the planet, yet there's growing dread about where the world is headed. Seemingly intractable problems are cropping up everywhere. Obesity, mental health struggles, pollution, you name it. To step out of this cycle and help us imagine an entirely new path forward, I'd like to take us back. I'd like to take us back not just to the beginning of history, but to the beginning of human evolution. There's no place like home. And once upon a time, our home was our kin village. Everyone was mom or dad or sibling, cousin, aunt, or uncle. We took care of each other according to how closely related we were, something biologists call inclusive fitness. We were fed, informed, and governed by those who had our best interests at heart, because our kin's success was tied to our success. By contrast, in the modern global village, we rely much more on strangers who don't share a genetic stake in our lives. Based on inclusive fitness, strangers have an incentive, a bio-incentive, to put their own interests ahead of ours. One can very well argue that this system of self-interest has produced a lot of good. That phone in your pocket is a great example. However, when those entrusted to serve us don't have kin skin in the game, unfortunate things can happen. Fake news, fake foods, and fake leaders all arise from the same underlying cause of low genetic alignment. If we ask one food company to use less sugar, another will use more to steal market share. If we ask one media company to use less clickbait, another will use more to fill the void. In a way, Kardashian culture and high fructose corn syrup are really the same thing. The inevitable outcome of a race to the bottom where misalignment meets competition. What I'd like to propose is a new path, one that updates the biological algorithm of inclusive fitness to the social algorithm called inclusive stakeholding, a system of incentives that aligns interests across the globe. Let me provide some context. Looking back, world history as we know it has been a story of how our family values didn't scale as we globalized. When kingship replaced kinship, sovereigns began ruling over instead of on behalf of the people. Ancient republics then emerged to counter these abuses. The Romans overthrew Tarquinius Superbus and formed the Roman Republic. The French overthrew Louis XVI and formed the French Republic. But many of these old republics still collapsed due to the same lack of alignment with the people that's led to countless eco-revolutions since. Along the way, the idea of a jointly owned company was born. This powerful idea aligned interests among owners the way genes once did for kin tribes. But these owners did not include workers, people in distant lands, or children of future generations as stakeholders, resulting in the abuses of labor, colonialism, and pollution that has marred the past few centuries. Against this backdrop, giving stock to workers was a stunning innovation that made Silicon Valley the entrepreneurial juggernaut that it is today. But now, Silicon Valley has become the latest to incur the wrath of the people. Since Silicon Valley companies are not tied to the welfare of their users, there's an incentive to put their own interests of the company, as in keeping their users' eyes glued to their screens, ahead of the user's welfare, aka their mental well-being. You can see a pattern here. Ever since we left the kin tribe era of human evolution, there's always been an excluded stakeholder paying the price. The price of tyranny, slavery, nativism, nationalism, imperialism, colonialism, racism, pollution, and inequality. These are some of the many things that fell out of Pandora's jar, keeping philosophers and poets busy for thousands of years. These examples also demonstrate a recurring theme. Unless root cause community alignment issues are addressed, whack-a-mole solutions to symptoms will only lead to new problems. The good news, however, is that the solution is hiding in plain sight. We're at that tap your heels together 3 times moment when we realize that we've had the power to change our story all along. That's because, seen through a wider lens, the arc of human history has been nothing more than our failure to replace the inclusive fitness of the kin village with inclusive stakeholding in the global village. That's quite doable. To leap forward from the kin village to the global village, we have to step back and focus on not just our rights, but also our responsibilities to one another. We have to step back and focus on not just our independence, but also our interdependence. Imagine, for instance, startups giving founder shares to blind trusts whose responsibility is to address the unforeseen consequences 10 years down the road. Could this automate decentralization of power? Imagine health insurance having a stake in your health savings 10 years down the road. Would this motivate them to promote better nutrition and better exercise to reduce obesity? Imagine home builders having a stake in the value of your home 10 years after construction. Would this motivate them to not cut corners? Imagine AI algorithms that are tuned not only to the welfare of the user, but also to the entire planet's welfare. Would AI learn empathy? Instead of universal basic income, imagine universal basic stakeholding, where we all have shares in the nation's future. Now imagine that all of these examples are part of an entirely new economic system that takes on humanity's greatest challenges through interdependent stakeholding, building networks where we all have shares in each other's future. The stakes have never been higher. Since all of us are living together in a highly interconnected world, our futures are intertwined as individuals and nations like never before. From ecological impact to humanitarian crises to space exploration, we all have a collective stake in the risks and opportunities across the planet. Embracing inclusive stakeholding is our final frontier, and our future depends on it. Instead of a world where history is written by the victors, imagine a world where history is made by helping others win. If we succeed, our transformative journey from the kin village to the global village will be complete. Welcome home, and thank you.